Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing good. So I'm setting out today from my parents' home, and I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna probably walk to the bus or walk into town. Just see what it's like on the bike path, the walking trail today. Not going up into the hill or the mountain over there. What I'm gonna do is just head on into either head into town or head to the bus stop. I haven't really decided yet how my body feels when I start hiking. So sometimes I feel a little bit better, sometimes I don't. So in terms of how I just, walking distances, stuff like that. So I got, if you change clothes or anything, sometimes you feel a little bit better or worse. So I'm gonna go the same way I was going the other day when I posted a video with the deer. I think they were deer, but I'm pretty sure. But anyway, there's construction here, so I'm gonna avoid walking in the path right now because they've got part of a porta potty on the path. So I just kind of move around it a little bit. So a lot of construction. They've done construction over the years here, and then they've stopped, and then they've started. So just all the regular stuff. Sometimes people are out there having meetings and stuff like that. They talk about it. What's the deadline? Because here it gets so cold in the winter. A lot of the construction sort of slows down in the winter because it gets so cold. It gets so cold that just keep doing stuff, and the snow and the freezing probably changes some of that a little bit. But it is a little bit warmer today than what I expect. It's cool, but I don't know. I think what I'll do if my back is a little bit tight, a little bit tough on my back, I think all I'll do is walk down towards the hospital, I think. I don't know. I suppose I could walk up Elkhorn Road, basically 3 or 4 ways. I can walk up Elkhorn, I can go to the hospital, which is a slight decline and flat. I can walk into town, which is a slight incline, and I can walk along the highway, part of the way which gets to a bus stop. But I'm usually pretty tired when I get there. I don't know what to do. I don't know which way to go. It's like my body hasn't responded very well to hiking or walking, and so it's just like I don't really have that I can walk so much further than I used to. It's almost like the anticipation's worn off a little bit and my body hasn't responded. That's why sometimes you go into, if you're gonna start walking or hiking or whatever, or even running, you have a lot of anticipation at the beginning of it. And if your body hasn't responded, not hasn't responded, but it allows you to sort of break through that initial, initial time at the beginning when you haven't really adjusted to the new schedule, the new routine. Oh, there's a bee right there. Here, I'll show you this bee. There's a bee just right down here. Right there. So, so you use that anticipation, and then your body responds as you're exercising or working out. But for me, I found the last 15 years or so, my body really doesn't respond. So I can anticipate, I can be excited, I can do a lot of stuff, but just nothing really responds. So, you know, when I start a new job or something, the same thing happens. I don't really seem to get that. I didn't initially get that change of routine and response. So by the 3rd month or the 5th month or whatever, you're just like, you know, I haven't really gotten any adjustment that's been better. So a lot of times the jobs and stuff just became continually more difficult, and I didn't really have anything left, you know, after a couple years or a few months or whatever. So I think finally by the end, when I knew none of it was gonna work, I just sort of said, well, you know, have fun, I guess. So, I mean, really, you know, so. A lot of the landscaping is going on around here. I don't think my back is up for it right now, so I'm gonna have to do the gradual decline to the hospital where the bus stop is. Hopefully I can make it there. Once I start on that road, I'm pretty sure I can make it there, but I gotta walk down this, gotta walk up here, then down, and then walk on the gradual decline. I'll have to see when I replay this if the bee came into focus or not. So I'll see how many bicyclists are on the path today. Hopefully a lot, but maybe not too many. I don't know. Lots of butterflies flying around. My arm does get a little bit tired holding the video here. Some wire or something somebody left on the road. Broken, here I'll show it to you. It's a broken weed whacker. That's what it is, I think. Just a piece of plastic broken off a weed whacker just laying here. It's plastic core, I think. So not like a metal wire, but just stuff you see laying around. I'll take a couple photos just for my own sort of a neat feature. Some of this stuff you can take a photo while you're doing video. It's kind of nice. So lot hotter here than I thought it would be. I don't exactly know why. Walking a little faster, but it's like I'm gonna break through my back pain. It's that old, what is GNC or Solo Flex ad where the guy's like, there's an ant right here. That's important because I was gonna put my hand here. I don't want that ant to all of a sudden run up my arm as I'm resting. Just put my hand here to rest, but that ant's crawling around, looking for stuff, doing whatever ants do. That's what that ant is doing. So, find some mushrooms. I'll show you some mushrooms here. There's some darkened, been there for a few days, mushrooms. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, you know, a cast, like a chiseled cast around a body. And the model, the actor, like broke through it. It's like breaking through it. It's a lot of stuff when you dealing with yoga, joints, muscles, and bones. When you crack your back, you elongate your spine, you get that sort of that tension. I guess it's subluxation. What I read about in the late 90s when I was going to school, taking classes at Santa Monica College. I did this report, but I had to read about yoga and chiropractic, you know, the subluxation where they jerk the neck and you hit that cracking, that separating of the cartilage and the space. You get that physical cracking sound that seems to alleviate a lot of the pain. I didn't continue on with chiropractic, not as a profession, but as a payer. And you know, one of the warnings I read is that the more you do the subluxation, the looser that gets. So they tend to settle back into that cramped form. And so it feels really good, you know, never having done it or doing it once or twice. And then when you go back to it every week or 3 weeks, because they get looser, those tendons and the tissue between the muscle, the tendon, and the bone seems to get adjusted, or they stretch. They don't tend to compact back together. And so if that spine elongates and it gets cramped from, you know, pounding on the pavement or whatever activity, you do the subluxation, it feels great. You know, sort of people say their spine aligned, they got their spine because it felt so good. But if you keep going back and doing that, within a few hours, right, you settle back down into that sort of that cramped spine feeling. And so you lose that ability to have that pressure release from the subluxation because you keep doing it over and over. And I said, well, you know, if there's any indicator of my life, you know, playing video games, at the time I was in my 20s, I'd go out, I'd have drinks, right? If anything feels good, I would do it more than once. So I said, I got to stop going to the chiropractor because I'll be going back every time if it feels so good. So I stopped, but I tended to later on try to do yoga, and there was Alexander technique at the time in acting in studios. It was the idea that if you just sort of stand taller of your own accord, which I could at the time, you would get some of that elongation out of the spine. It would feel a lot better, and you would sort of do some of this subluxation gently. If you've ever gotten a massage or something where the body sort of warms up a bit and you don't do some of that sort of that jerking, that sort of immediate release, sort of the masseur or the masseuse's hands sort of do the same thing in sort of a looser, hotter sensation. And so you get that sort of that feeling that the bones or whatever sort of in the spine, or basically the spine, maybe a little bit of the shoulder, a little bit, sort of feel a little bit better. Of course, if there's pulling on it, sometimes you can get out of torqued a little bit. You just sort of get, whoa, man, that's not the adjustment I wanted. But, and then of course, yoga, a lot of the stretches you do in yoga, as you do them on your own, right? Whether you're doing a hot sort of athletic repeated sun salutation, or you're doing some of the lateral stretching. The lateral stretching for me in yoga felt particularly good because I could get some of that semi-subluxation, just gentle sort of corrections on my own, whether I added a little push or a little pull. I could get a little bit of that unbinding of the spine to feel better. And then some of them I could not do. I'd had my hips dislocated a few times, and so in pressure situations. And so when I tried to do some of the forms where you would put that sort of that up down twist on the hips, I could feel my hip almost sensation popping out. I don't know that it would technically pop out, but I could feel the sensation. And so even if I was at work or something where I was standing all the time, we would be talking about stuff. I tried to sort of do a twist, and even on my own, that hip, left or right, would basically respond, and I'd say, whoa, I can't do that anymore, you know? And so I sort of had to let some of that go because I just simply couldn't get, I don't know whether it's the authorization to repair or the permanence to repair, the resources to repair. You know, sometimes you say, well, you know, I was in this dumb thing and my hips are terrible now, but what about somebody else, right? Right, if you're able to run a marathon, what about somebody else? You know, somebody else might want to do that, or what about this person or that person? So somehow resources come into effect, and you say, well, you know, you're just going to have to deal with some of that. But the best way to deal with some of that for me is to sit on a park bench, even if it's by the side of the road. And I forgot, did I pour my soda? I'm going to have a sip of soda here. And I'm going to try to set this up right here. So you'll see me right there. Oops. There we go. I'm going to sit here and have a sip of soda. They're doing more road construction here. They've got some type of pile driver or something down here. This is a bridge that leaks water through it all year unless it's frozen, and now they're going to apply a pile driver to the side of it. I don't know if that's helping or hindering the leaking. It might not be I think it's a pile driver right there. Something's coming down, the piston coming down. Not to be cynical, one day they'll all figure it out. And that's the wrong saying. One day they'll figure it out, or one day it'll all get figured out one day, or whatever. A lot of the construction I see is repeated over and over and over on corners and roads and highways. I feel bad though, because a lot of people dedicated their lives to what they thought were permanent construction projects. The toxic smells, the heat application, the gravel, the dust, the injuries, right? They contribute their life to something they think is permanent. Those old asphalt freeways that would not crack, they all get torn up for stuff that melts and bends and everything. You know, they're told this is going to be a 90-year project, and 26 years later, it's kaput. So, but I don't know if there's that many of them left, you know, but so. Some of them, they'll stay. That's why some of the bridges, you know, the bridges that you see, the big bridges, they have to constantly be repainted. There's taxes for it. They get repaired. The whole thing, you can hear it down here now. They do stay up because people have to keep driving on them. Kind of go under here, see if there's still water leaking. You can see here the water leaking under the bridge just sort of remains all season when it's not frozen. Of course, the idea that when water freezes in pavement or in enclosed spaces, the ice expands, breaking it apart because it can't escape. It freezes, expands. The water, as it freezes, expands, and it breaks it, cracks it even more. So there's more of a water dripping down here. So I want to show you these little plants right here. They're kind of cool. It's kind of roundish plant right there. There's mushrooms intermixed with this plant. So start on my walk. It's a grasshopper right here. It's a little grasshopper. Start on. I'm gonna go with the decline today because I'm honestly I'll be breathing too much. My arm is getting a bit tired. can see here, this is just interesting land formation here. It's like a gully down there of, you know, a larger indented area that's straight. If water could flow down there, or mud or whatnot when it rains. So a lot of times there's different animals that inhabit those spaces, and you say to yourself, you know, don't run down in there, because those animals will say, hey, whoa, there went a butterfly. Oh, wow, what was that? You know, don't run in there, because, you know, they'll say that's our area or whatever. That was like a fast, floppy butterfly. And here's another, oh, there goes another grasshopper right there. Right there. It's right there. It'll jump in a minute. I think that butterfly landed right on the screen there. Oh, here goes another one. Right there. It's kind of this, oh, it's a big grasshopper with big wings. You can see how big it is, and it goes right into the, look at it, you can barely see it right there. It's a big grasshopper right there. I don't know if you can see it. Real big, real dark. The wings come out. I don't know if I can focus it. I don't have the way to turn the video around. You can see these interesting plants right here, spiky sort of plant at the top, a very round, spherical, sort of spiky plant. I don't exactly know if they're a thistle or not. They have more of the flowers around them, so they might not actually be a thistle. Thistles sort of grow straight, and at the top they're very sharp. So you want to, here's a bee flying around. I'll show you a bee right here. There's that bee, and I get landed on. I get a fly that touches right on my arm. Some type of bug or fly. Here's some droppings, some type of deer on the path. I don't actually know if that's deer or not. All this stuff out here all day. We're gonna go across the bridge in a little bit. Wow, look at this. Just this plant right here. Just I think you're supposed to stay away from that plant, and then you have this plant right down here. I'll show you the bridge if you can see it down here. So you can see the bridge. Barely can see the bridge in this video. So I'm gonna keep going down here. Get a little sting on my arm. Sometimes you get something, maybe you get bit or something. Sometimes you have to be a little bit careful. I mean, you can't do all that much careful wise. I mean, like the grasshopper flying at you, I mean, it's, you gotta know whether you're gonna go for a walk or not. here's another one right here. Just sitting down there. It's funny, I don't see the bicyclists in this image very fast until they're right there. Here's a little snack wrapper right there. Somebody discarded a snack wrapper. See the bridge here. The bridge was coming up right down there. Make it the bridge. I'll show you the little river that's going through there. It's kind of nice. Breathing in there. There's another just flying out there, flying here. Now birds, I'm starting to see some birds. You get more of the trees, you'll find birds. And this is almost a reddish color. I don't know if you can see that. Some of these leaves have a little bit of a reddish color. I don't exactly know why that is. Oh, got a little. Here's another, show this here, a little bigger right there. Right there. See if those come into focus. My hairs are standing up a little bit on my arm just as the wind and standing out here a little bit. Excuse me. Here's a big ant, or maybe it's a spider. It's going right there. Big ant right there. I think that's an ant. Right there. There it goes. It's moving. Right by that leaf. It's pretty big. So we'll go out on this bridge, show a little bit of the river. I'm not going to walk down to the river. I wanted to earlier in the year, and I've since just sort of lost a little bit of excitement for going out of the river because it's a ways far back for me to walk. So get your feet wet and everything like that, and it's gotten drier here, I guess, as it goes into winter. So here's the bridge right here. Just gonna keep going on the bridge. You can see it looks like the water is calm today, which is nice. You can see down here this little flat woodsy area. You can run around and go right out to the water right there. So here's what the walkway looks like. I'm on the bridge here. I get sort of that wood smell from these wood boards that are down here. See this little winding river right here. It does go under the overpass right there. And then over here, you've got this right here. Just sort of slowly coming down through here. People can hang out over here. And then somebody put some boards around this log, this tree that fell right here. So, you know, water looks really nice and clear right now. So you could walk around and just sort of basically doing what I'm doing here. You get your feet a little bit wet down there. Seems a little bit nice. There's some built up rocks over there. This comes down around here. So over here you see is the other side. You have sort of that highway, roadway coming through here with a little bit of a bridge and overpass. So I'm getting a little bit of a side ache. Got some reading here, a bench to sit down at. You got the little path that goes down there. So all right, so I'm going to end there. I've got a little more ways to walk. Then I'm going to get to the bus stop and then take the bus back up into town. Maybe I'll get the mail today. Maybe get something to eat. So anyway, I hope you're doing good. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.